In this incredible video, I'm going to show you how to get ultra sharp photos. And to make it even harder, we're going to reproduce one of my favorite photos of all time, a magazine cover that I did for the state of California in 2018, which is the Griffith Park view of the observatory compressed with downtown. I'm going to show you the best tips to get very sharp photos. And it's going to be very hard because we're going to shoot with a very long lens and we're going to shoot at very low light at night. So come and follow me in Los Angeles. Mesdames et messieurs, this is going to be epic. This is going to be crazy. This is going to be fou. It doesn't work. It's crazy. What's going on? It doesn't work. Ah! If you ever come to Los Angeles, ever, funny story, the first day I came to Los Angeles in my life, I shot this photo, which was exactly this view, very similar to tonight. And Nike contacted me and bought the photo for $2,500 for the fuel of Nike. It was in 2015 or something. And it's up to today still also one of my favorite photos of Los Angeles. But tonight we're not going to do that. We're going to go from the observatory to a special confidential location, a little nice hike about a mile away to get this Terminator view. Hasta la vista, baby. So if you want to take this photo, you go to the parking of the observatory and you go at the opposite of the observatory. You have a small pass that a lot of people miss called the Mount Hollywood hiking. And you take the little pass, you push the stone, and you come to a place where there is absolutely nobody. There was like 2,000 people here. We are walking on a path right now, and there is absolutely nobody. And it's every time I come, it's the same, and it's the best shots. I don't know why. Maybe I need to do a YouTube video on it. Here we are. Incroyable, magnifique. C'est folie, c'est fou, c'est fou. Okay, so one funny story. So this is how this whole story started. Years ago, Tim Shield, a friend of mine who was my student at the time, who's a great teacher now, he invited me to take a walk with him to the Hollywood sign. We went there, and when we arrived, the light was really bad, was very harsh. But we stayed until very night, everybody's gone, and we got this shot. It's my favorite photo of the Hollywood sign. The next day, Darius, a buddy of mine, said that the state of California was looking for new images of Hollywood and of California. I submitted my photo. I didn't hear anything, and then 1 month later, I won first place for iconic photos of the Hollywood sign. And the state of California asked me, we have a magazine, we would like you to make the cover, but that photo didn't work because it was too long. So I said, well, I have another one called the Terminator shot, the one we're going to shoot tonight. And they said, oh, we love the shot. And that was my first magazine cover. And that's what we're going to do tonight. And I'm going to show you my best tips, at least 5 or 6 tips to get the most ultra sharp photos. As I go, I promise you, if you stay until the end, your photography will change forever. Ever. Stay until the end. Regarde, tu vois ce shot, il est génial parce que tu as une route qui compresse. Look at this shot. This is not the shot, but it's a little bonus on the way. I love because you got a very nice leading line with the Hollywood sign and the sun. I'm doing it in HDR. As a little bonus, don't tell anyone. It's going to be amazing. I'm very excited because the photo that I just got, I totally forgot about this leading line thing. I think with my preset, it's going to be a killer. Stay until the end because I'm going to show you all the retouching also. I want to give you a lot of value. And the reason why I want to give you a lot of value is that one day, I'm hoping that maybe I can coach you one-on-one or one-to-many, or you come on one of my workshops, you know, in Italy, in Iceland, in Paris. It will be crazy. What do you think? All the information is under the video, but the main thing you need to remember is get the preset. I, on purpose, give my presets for free because I use them to make my books. And again, I want to give you value. I want you to see that they're useful, that they can totally transform your photography, that they can help you to not over-retouch or under-retouch your photo. And then maybe you will buy one of my courses one day. We never know. In one moment of generosity, it will be insane. I love the Griffith Park and the view of Los Angeles. It's incredible. I used to live in Los Feliz, which is like just 2 miles down. And I used to hike here 3 times a week. I moved to Florida. I must say I miss Los Angeles because Los Angeles is a very nice city. There's a lot of very nice neighborhood, a lot of French people. It's just incredible food. I put on 20 pounds in Los Angeles. It is incroyable, magnifique. I love it. Right now, it is still too early. What we want is the middle of the blue hour. You want all the city lights to be on, but you don't want the night to be too dark. So tonight, we're gonna get a very sort of, blue, grayish sky. So if you wait more and more, it's gonna turn blue. So we're gonna have to wait, I think, half an hour to get the shot. And it's really hard to get super ultra sharp photos in these conditions. We are almost there. This is a nice view behind me. The problem is that we're not high enough. And so the trees are over downtown a little bit too much. So we need to go much higher. We're gonna go higher over there. And then we have a view, bam, going down Terminator. Exactly what James Cameron used in some of the Terminator movie. Because the Terminator arrives at the Griffith Park in the first episode. I told you I would kill you last. I lied. It's me doing a very bad Arnold Schwarzenegger impression. I don't speak very much German. I am more a bit of a French accent. That's more my thing. But anyway, we cannot do everything. Hollywood! Okay, this is the spot. I'm a little tired, I'm a little fatigué, but this is the spot. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you some of the tips. Okay, tip number 1, have a very good firm tripod. If you wanna see the gear I'm using, you can check the link in the description. I love this tripod. It's a Siriu. I'm not sponsored by Siriu, but I really like it. I have a really right side ball head, which I love. I've had it for 14 years. Really right stuff is the really right stuff. So one thing is never do this. If you want to get a very sharp photo, never use the middle because you want as much stability as possible. So that's tip number 1. Of course, we put this on the tripod. For stability also, I'm going to take off this and this because with the wind, it can make some light not very stable. So I'm going to take this out. Tip number 2, either you have a remote or you have the self-timer on 2 seconds at least, so that when you take a photo, it waits 2 seconds and it takes a photo. Never touch your camera when it is like this. Tip number 3, take off any stabilization. When you're on a tripod, you don't want your lens or your camera to be stabilized. So on the Sony, for example, you can see the steady shot is off. I have a shortcut here with function where I can take my steady shot off. Now I'm gonna take out the big guns. I actually rented for this photo, because I don't have this lens, a 70-200. Because right now I am at 70 and it's too wide. I really want to compress. I'll show you. You can really compress and get downtown to come closer to the observatory. And this is a very sharp lens. So I mounted a little mount here and this goes on the camera. One thing I love, by the way, about the Sony 7R5 is when I turn off the camera, if you wait 2 seconds, boom, the sensor is protected now. So I can take out the lens. My sensor is protected. That's a new feature of the Sony 7R5 that I don't think the 4 has it. It's only from the 5. And I could leave it like this, but for it to be more stable, I'm gonna unclamp it here and I'm gonna put it, because most of the weight is on. Okay, now this is good. Okay, autofocus is on. And then OES, which is stabilization, I'm gonna put it off and not on. That's a stabilization, okay? Okay, next tip is you wanna make sure you have spot focus on. See, I'm moving with the joystick this, and I'm gonna put this on the observatory and try to find a point where there's a bit of contrast. Like for example, the rooftop is gonna be a nice contrast. That way when I press and it goes green, it's really focusing at the right spot. Okay, so let me recap. So far, super good tripod with a central bar down. Camera on the tripod, 2-second timer, all stabilization taken out, and spot focusing in the middle of the photo, and using a 2-second self-timer so you're not touching your camera, okay? But there is more. Okay, so let's talk about settings. I want to get the best photo possible. I want to make a big print with it. So 100 ISO, because if you go up in ISO, you're gonna add some noise to it. Okay, 100 ISO. I find that f8 is like the perfect spot for most lenses that gives you the best sharpness. So I'm gonna be at f8. And right now, I need 2 seconds for that. Now, maybe I'm gonna change my mind and, as it gets darker, go like to f4 and maybe 200 ISO. the game is to get the most pristine photo possible. Right now, I'm very happy with 100 ISO, 2 second, f8. Mwah. It is incroyable, incroyable, formidable. So the name of the game is to get the biggest print possible. Like imagine like a Peter Lee gallery in Vegas, huge print. So 100 ISO, because if you go up in ISO and you start making big prints, you can see that you're lacking of contrast and that you're lacking of details. So I'm going to be 100 ISO. I'm going to be at f8 or f7 because it's a sweet spot for most lens that gives you really nice sharpness. And then I'm probably going to be at 2 seconds, but there is no wind tonight. I'm very stable. I took all stabilization off. I should be good. Sometime with long lens, it's good to do 5 second timer because 2 seconds is not enough. Like you can see there's micro vibration. I don't know if you see it, but like as I press, there's micro vibration. The camera needs to be completely still when it takes the photo. So if you're not sure, go for 5 seconds to really make sure that your camera is not moving at all, especially if you do 2 seconds. We are almost there. I just want to have a bit more contrast because Los Angeles is very hazy because it doesn't rain much. And so to get a bit more contrast, we have to wait that it gets a bit darker. So probably like 5-10 more minutes. And then we should be good. We should be incroyable. Did you subscribe, by the way? I've seen that 30% of you don't subscribe. It is a crime. How can you not subscribe? Subscribe to the channel. This way, I'm going to give you value after value after value. I tell you, I have some people that have been following me for years. I had a guy, he won 38 international awards after doing my coaching and training. His name is JT, 38 international awards. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you watch all the tips. And I promise you, if you're like me and you're passionate about photography, your photography is going to become insane, fantastic, magnifique, incroyable. I promise you. One trick if you want to make sure you, one last trick before we go, you need to take your photo. Once the photo is taken, you need to press play and then you zoom it at 100% if you have a mirrorless camera. And you can see, in this case, you know what I'm looking? I'm looking where it says observatory because then I can know if the photo is super sharp. Okay, bonus tip, and make sure you watch till the end. Now we're gonna go to my office, we're gonna retouch it together and we're gonna make the cover. I'm just waiting. I can't film anymore because it's getting too dark. So in about 10 minutes, I'll take a photo. I'll take you to my office and we're gonna retouch it together. You will see, and let's get a mind-blowing image together forever. Okay, so before we get into the retouching, I just want to show you. So this is the original magazine that I did. It was my first magazine cover where I was the only one on the cover in 2019. And it's a very sharp photo shot at 200 millimeter of the Griffith Spark. And I did it at the time in a sort of HDR style. I'm going to do it a little more natural today, but I want to show you the magazine. Now let's tackle the 200 millimeter photo. This one was shot and look how sharp it is, because remembered, I took stabilization off, I spot focuses, I did my focus on the observatory, I made sure my photo was sharp, I used a self-timer so I was not touching my camera. All of that helps to get an extremely sharp photo. And then I'm going to use my AI night preset, one click, maybe not that much magenta. I think I want to go green on this one, a little more green, like something like this, in between green and something like this, more natural, a bit more contrast. When you use one of my preset, you can see you have like little circles here, which are there. I'm going to move them around to places where it makes sense to move them around, like this. I have a big circle here, which I'm going to move here. I think on this one, I want to also crop it like 16 by 9. It's too much sky. Voila. Look at that. Look at that. How sharp that photo is. It's incredibly sharp. And it was shot at 200 millimeter. You want to get sharpness that people go like, oh my gosh, it's so sharp. Now, I'll give you a trick. Once you've done your basic sharpness, especially on a photo like this, you take a brush and you only do some sharpening on the brush. On the brush, what you do is you add 3 things. You add some clarity, some texture, and some sharpening. And on this one, and you make sure that the flow and density is in the 100. Okay. And you only sharpen the foreground, like only maybe here. Just here, not even the top of the building, just here. And look at this. Look right now, put your attention on I think you will see it, on the observatory, before, after. Look at that. Really makes it comes out. Maybe it's a bit too much on this one. It's a bit too much. But now you have a contrast. I'm going to lower the clarity and the texture a little bit. But now you have a contrast between some elements which are extremely sharp and the haze which is going away. I love that shot.
Okay, now because I love that shot, I'm gonna take this one, which is like the 70mm view, and I'm gonna click on previous, and that's gonna copy exactly the retouching that I did and copy it on that. Look at that. And on this one, I can say, oh, maybe I'm gonna go for a much more magenta look, which is what I did. Now on the original cover, what I did is I did a nasty trick, which I'm gonna show you now, because I wanted to give it like really an HDR look. So what I did, what you do when you do that is you right click and you go to Photoshop, you open the photo in Photoshop. And what that's gonna do is that it's gonna create a Photoshop file, and then you close it right away, file close. And by doing, it's a little trick. By doing that, you're creating a TIFF 16-bit of your photo, okay? You're not on a RAW file anymore. And check this out. So now, look, and I'm on the TIFF, I'm not anymore on a RAW file. And now, and that's what I did on the original cover. I did a double development on this. So I redid some retouching, and that's gonna give it, honestly, I don't like this look anymore. I'm showing it for historical purpose only. But it gives this sort of like crazy oversaturated look. Maybe I'm going to lower a bit the saturation and the magenta. But that's what I did when I did the original cover. I did that, and they loved it. They loved it. If you like that look, you can use that. I prefer a more natural look today, like this one. Let me show you in full screen. So that's the natural look, and that's the HDR look. You know, you pick your battle. By the way, I have this incredible video on London. Download my preset and then watch that video from London on how I'm doing my upcoming book, starting now.